Most everyone's watching their money these days. Sometimes they avoid having vehicles inspected. Now, unfortunately, putting off an inspection could cost you more money in the long run.
Our Monday morning mechanic, David Rogers from Keller Brothers Auto Repair, joins us live this morning with more. David?
Well, hi, Natalie. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good, thanks.
You know, this is truly the story of the week. Every single week for the last year and a half, I've seen so many things come in that just didn't have to go here. I'm going to show you this radiator right now. This was a simple job. Could have been solved. Somebody had an oil leak, and this is called an oil cooler. It's almost like a radiator. You'll have these on pickups or anything that's towing. And what it does is oil runs through these lines, and then the air goes through here, and it kind of keeps it cool, but it's right up next to the radiator. Well, this one, when they replaced the oil cooler, oil had sprayed on the radiator, and this is what's so frustrating. This is like a neighbor down the street that did the repair, and he didn't wash the radiator off. So as you can see, what happened was oil and dirt got into the fins, you see that? And it stopped the airflow on the radiator, causing a serious overheat on the engine and costing the consumer another $500 he wouldn't have had to spend if he hadn't had his buddy replace this little $150 part. So sometimes it really pays to go to a professional or to at least go and have it inspected if you're going to try to do a shade tree repair yourself. Another one here is we talk a lot about fluids on the show, and one thing that you can see here is a fuel filter, and I've cut them away so that you can kind of see what they look like inside. And here's a brand new one, nice and clean and beautiful. Here's a filthy one. Okay, this filthy one is the culprit, and it took out a fuel pump. Now this pump, I know you're looking at it going, why are you showing me this? This is down submerged under gasoline in the tank, and this is the little float thing that tells you how full it is. Well, when the filter got clogged, then the gasoline couldn't be pushed through by the pump, and it caused the pump to fail. $700. A simple inspection would have solved that problem. You know, by the time they clean out the tank, replace the pump, the filter, the strain, $700, a simple inspection. So again, I'm telling you, think twice. Now brakes, we've talked about brakes a few times. What happens with brake pads is brake pads clamp on, okay, to these wheels, and they clamp on something like that. And as the wheel goes around, it's actually more like that. And as the wheel goes around and you step on it, these clamp down. Now, when the brake pad material begins to wear off, as you can see on these, there's nothing left. It's gone to the steel. You can kind of see that steel right there. And when it gets to that point, what happens is it begins to dig into these rotors. Now, these rotors can cost you $50 to $150 per wheel. And the brake pads, just a replacement, probably cost you $150, $200. So if you get the brake pad before it wears out, you don't have to replace these rotors, and you save yourself hundreds of dollars. So again, the main purpose of our discussion today is by simply staying in touch with it. It's kind of like going to the dentist. If you have a little toothache and you ignore it, you know, yeah, you don't have to pay the dentist any money. Yeah, you know, you don't have to deal with being in the chair and all the anxiety. But you ignore it, it turns into a broken tooth or something with a bigger hole, has to have a root canal, and then you spend $1,200, $1,500, and you're at the dentist's mercy while he's doing that root canal and then selling you the expensive crown. It's the same thing in auto repair. If you let it go, if you don't take the time to find out what's going on, you're going to have a much bigger expense, and it's likely to be painful.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is people look at going to the mechanic sometimes as like going to the dentist.
Absolutely.
Rarely do you get good news.
Yeah.
No, and the trick is to stay ahead of it, really, folks. I'm telling you, if you stay ahead of it, and most of the good shops today will take you in the back and show you what's really going on. So it's not a mystery, and you don't have to just buy something or trust people on a feeling.
All right, David, thanks as always.
Thanks. Be careful.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.